There are no one like fans, and that's why Sky Bet are giving you weekly free bets and boosts all season long. So make sure you click the link in the description and take advantage of these great offers. Sky Bet for the fans.
Have you seen the Marcus Rashford news?
Yes, it's crazy. I can't believe Villa have done it, really. And that's not nothing against Marcus Rashford, but I feel they need a certain type of player. He brings a little bit of controversy to Aston Villa. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's the best deal in the world for Aston Villa. I'm
so surprised that Marcus Rashford has ended up at Aston Villa. Like, of all the places where I thought Marcus Rashford would end up, I felt like at the very least it would be like a super club. A super club elsewhere, even maybe a slightly fading super club, a slightly struggling super club. Like, you know, if he'd ended up running the wing in front of the San Siro, it made sense to me. The links with Barcelona made sense to me. Even Paris Saint-Germain on some level, going to Paris, an iconic team, a team that's being rebuilt, made sense to me.
Even a Galatasaray.
Galatasaray wouldn't make sense to me. but I mean, Aston Villa...
I know what you mean, though.
Aston Villa makes no sense to me at all. Dude, what about you, Adam?
I think I expected him to join a different club when I saw the links to some other teams. But what you got to remember about those teams is, like, I think PSG just signed Kvaratskhelia for 70-odd million or whatever that was. I think Barcelona are in a position where they need to get rid of players before they can sign players. AC Milan ended up signing Kyle Walker. I think their wage structure only allowed for that one to happen. So I think those kind of clubs started dwindling in numbers. And when you look at it, whilst I don't want to see him play for another English club, Aston Villa isn't the worst move for him in terms that he goes into a team where they've just lost one of their main goal scorers in John Duran. There's a space opening up there. Leon Bailey hasn't been in the best form this season. I think he could link up well with Ollie Watkins. The manager really wants him, which I think helps at the moment. I think, you know, whoever's to blame, whether it's Marcus Rashford's fault, Manchester United's fault, the manager's faults that we've had in the recent years, the manager at Manchester United currently doesn't want him. And for him to hear a manager phone him, have a couple of conversations with him and be like, "You're my guy, I want you to join the club," I think that will be refreshing and open a lot of doors for Marcus Rashford.
Wouldn't have Ruben Amorim said a similar thing though when he came in?
Well, I think the problem for Ruben Amorim when Ruben Amorim came in, or for Marcus Rashford when Ruben Amorim came in, was that there were already rumours that Rashford could potentially be allowed to leave. And then Rashford does that interview. And whilst Rashford had the opportunities with Amorim early on, he scored in his first game against Ipswich, scored that brace against Everton. You know, the kind of pathway for him to leave the club was already kind of set in motion. And Rashford's head, for whatever reason, wasn't quite on it at Manchester United. Therefore, the manager couldn't pick him. So I don't think there was a way back for him. Now, he could potentially go to Aston Villa, tear it up, and Ruben Amorim sees there's a space for him to come back. And maybe he goes away, tears it up, does well, and those clubs in the summer will be in a position to buy him more so than they were now.
It's a tricky
I don't think
club,
it's a bad move for him though, man.
Tricky club to
go for a mixed grill with me on a
it's an amazing. By the way, I'm not saying Rashford won't enjoy his time at Villa. I'm not saying that at all because Villa are an amazing club, historic club. They're in the Champions League.
But
there's an element of like
this is uninspiring for Rashford. Look, you know, we all in agreement when we talk about Aston Villa. We're all aware of what Aston Villa are, where they rank, the history of the club. There's no doubt about the size of and stature of what
there's a lot of pressure in there. When things don't go their right way, Aston Villa. There's a lot of pressure in the stadium. There's a lot of they can start booing at any moment. They expect things massively. Even the Champions League this season, they were booing results that didn't go their way. Aston Villa fans have got a lot of they expect a lot from their club, and rightly so or wrongly so. We can debate that.
For Villa, it's
Rashford,
a great signing. For Villa,
there's always going to be pressure on Rashford wherever he goes.
But you know what I mean?
He doesn't escape the spotlight.
You know when Jesse Lingard left, he went to West
Ham.
But you know when Jesse Lingard went to West Ham, that is a fan base ready for a maverick, ready for someone that just is.
Oh, so is Aston Villa really? Look at
there's a lot more pressure than West Ham.
Rodgers and all these guys.
Rashford could fit in well with that.
I don't think he starts.
In terms of the football that they play, he wouldn't start straight away. He's got to earn his spot.
It's not a bad sign.
If he goes to a different club, he needs to be starting different. He needs to be starting loads of games for 3 months and have a bit of fun and enjoy himself.
Any club that Marcus Rashford were to go to, it's only the right club if he has to earn his place. He can't be going to a team where he just walks straight in off the back of the form that we've seen. It's the right club if he has to earn his place.
I don't think
that's why people said Dortmund was a good shout or AC Milan because he sort of go into a big club but also start.
I think going away from England was probably the ideal case because of that. You get away from that. The fishbowl of British football.
Although it will be a lot easier. The eyeballs and the intensity of being a player at Manchester United is incomparable to being a player at Aston Villa. You're not back page news at Villa, even if you're Marcus Rashford, in the way that you are back page news when you're Marcus Rashford at Manchester United.
Aston Villa are a bit like a mini Man United. There's a lot of pressure. It's a historic club, Champions League winner. Like the West Ham move for Jesse Lingard, it was free flow and it was more natural. It was a better fan base for him. I just think Rashford needs a little less pressure. I don't
think Villa is particularly pressured the way that you're suggesting.
No, I think it just can go wrong in more aspects for Rashford at Villa than it could have at another club.
But
you might have run out of options.
He has to go. Like what I'm saying, maybe I'm getting this wrong. I'm saying that Aston Villa for Rashford, if you're Rashford, the way that he was at Manchester United, the biggest club in the
face
country.
Of Manchester United.
He was at one point the public face of the club. He was the poster boy, the born and bred Manc and all that. If you're going to leave, it has to be to Barcelona, to Real Madrid, to Paris Saint-Germain, to AC Milan. I think that he will find Aston Villa quite an underwhelming, not overwhelming experience.
If he does, then he's making a big mistakes. They're in the Champions League with one of the great managers in European football.
But
Emery's one of the great managers outside of Guardiola.
They haven't won a trophy since 1993.
But he could be the person that gets them over.
They haven't won a trophy since 1993.
Out of everything you've said, that's the best sporting project out of all the clubs we talked about, maybe except Barcelona, but I don't think he starts with Barcelona. So Aston Villa, they could be in the top 4, top 5 this season. They could be. I know they lost to Wolves.
If we were talking hypothetically, I would have said that if Aston Villa were the club, that he just stays at Man United. I just wouldn't have thought that.
The thing is, he's not getting game time, and I think he needs a fresh. Whether it's just a temporary one or not, he needs a fresh start. He needs to get going again. For whatever reason, he seems to have fallen out of love with football, and I can kind of sympathise with that. You know, as we was talking about earlier, there's going to be peaks and troughs in careers, and you're going to need something to reignite you sometimes. Maybe the call from Unai Emery, you know, feeling loved, feeling like he was wanted, all those kind of things can massively help him. He's not moving too far as well. I don't know if that's a good thing though, then, because if his issues are in Manchester and you move into Birmingham, bruv, the M6 is right there.
Saying. He's playing for a big club now. Man United, biggest club in the world. Big fan base with a lot of expectation. Aston Villa, they're the biggest club in their city. It's a huge city, Birmingham. Obviously, Aston Villa aren't Man United, but it's a similar weight, a similar pressure in the fan base.
I think it's incomparable.
I think you underestimate the pressures of playing for Man United.
No, I'm not saying that, but there are certain clubs that aren't as big as Man United that are just a bit more free, and the fan base aren't. Aston Villa fans have got a lot of expectations.
Aston Villa fans will love him. They'll welcome him with open arms.
100%.
Because he'll be one of the best players they've signed in an awfully long time.
Yeah, and it's a loan deal as well.
Maybe one of the best signings, like just pure on paper, that they've made in a very, very long time.
They'll want Pablo Angel.
The financials of it is bad as well, in my opinion. He's 29 for 40 million quid, the option to buy. They've sold Duran for only 60 million pounds.
I don't think it's bad.
I don't know
if they make a profit and bring in, bear in mind, Rashford would have to perform well there for them to take up that option, right?
Only 30.
So if they take up the option and pay 40 million for Rashford, and it's because he's played well there for 5 months,
he would have scored.
And you've made a profit on Durant.
He might have scored 12 goals.
That's pretty good.
That's good. And then you might sell Ollie Watkins.
People overlook it, but whilst he has been poor for United this year, he's got like 7 goals, 5 assists, which isn't too bad for a wide player. Scores some big goals in big games.
They do need wingers. You're right.
He always scores goals in big games.
They need a left winger.
Do you know what? I kind of commend Marcus Rashford because he's basically saying to the Premier League and to Manchester and everybody else that doubted him, I'm backing myself here. I'm not going away to a different foreign country. I'm not going to an easier league. I'm staying in the Premier League just to show you guys.
But I don't know if that was,
the aim was never to do
his
that,
choice.
No, but it's not.
Yeah, I don't know if that. I think that's circumstance, Miles. I don't think he has made the statement, I'm going to do it in this league. I think that the offers have dried up around Europe, and he's been very surprised at the lack of interest.
He can easily stay though, Rory. He can easily stay at Manchester United
and not play.
He could easily. He hasn't been doing it. He can easily stay at Manchester United and just coast for the rest of the season and get a move. He's backed himself. He's gone to Aston Villa and said, you know what? I know it's a big move for me to go into Aston Villa. They're not a bigger club than Manchester United, but what they're doing and what they're trying to do right now, break into the Champions League. They're in the Champions League. If he can get that over the line for Aston Villa, it could be deemed as a successful.
He's failed upwards. He hasn't.
He's failed upwards. He hasn't. They're a better team. They're a better team. They're not a better option.
Not in the next 3 years. Playing for Man United for 3 years is way better than Aston Villa. You're right. But
being a Man United player is better than being a Villa player.
It's not if you're in the Champions League.
Also, let's
look at the Champions League.
No.
If he's been
told, he could be in the Champions League semi-final, Rory. That's amazing.
If he's been told, look, we're signing Asensio, potentially João Felix is coming. You're going to be part of this new look frontline for Aston Villa. It could be quite tempting for him, man. I hope he does well.
Yeah, of course. It's a good project.
Go on, Marcus, man. Find your smile again. That's one of the things.
But you hope he does well and then comes back to you?
Well, I don't think that happens.
No. You don't think that happens at all?
No. I think
it's over.
Yeah, I think Amarin's made a statement.
I'd love that to happen.
That's what you meant.
In my ideal world, Rashford goes there, scores.
You got to cut your losses, then, mate. I know you love him.
Back to Manchester United, but I don't think that.
Do you think he's going to be a success there?
Yes.
Do you think he's going to be a successor? No. Miles?
I think it'll have an impact on Aston Villa's season.
Do you think he'll be a success?
What do you deem as a success, though? If they make,
does he score goals? Does he play? Does he score goals? Does he create goals? Does he get to a final? Does he get them in the Champions League?
Does he improve Aston Villa?
Yeah. Of course.
They're worse with him versus Duran. I know it's crazy off the bench. I think they're a better side with Duran.
No, but he can play with Watkins.
9 off the left. I get that.
I don't think
Jacob Ramsey's playing off the left, and he's been good.
But Jacob Ramsey can also play through the middle.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you've got
Rogers and Ramsey
coming through the middle.
Ramsey, Rogers, Watkins,
but you need that Champions League, right?
And then
I'd rather have Duran off the bench.
Some players there, man.
They've got Jalfi.
Duran's the highest scorer. Duran's the highest scorer in the league this season. He's got more than Ollie Watkins coming off the bench.
They're going to be so stacked.
And they've sold him.
They've just
Rashford's nearly 30 years old.
27 years old.
They've just
you round up. You round up.
Yeah, but they've just signed
maths, and it's basic maths.